Okay, I got the cue. We are live. Hey, welcome everybody to the 1430 Warriors Corner. This is the best 1430 Warriors Corner presentation that you'll see today. So it's good to see you. And if you're curious in the aisles, come see us. We want to tell you, we want you to hear our story about the state partnership program and the difference it's been making for the last 20 years. I'm going to start with an assertion. I'm going to start with an assertion that Africa matters. And we're going to tell you a little bit about why. It matters because the security, the stability, the prosperity, the growth of our African partners is strategically important to our partners, and it's strategically important to us. And so we're going to talk to you a little bit about why the state partnership program is important to that, and why it matters and how it helps to contribute. My name is Major General Todd Wasman. I'm the commander of the Southern European Task Force Africa. And we are the headquarters, the Army headquarters, that wakes up every day thinking about our partners in Africa and how we can help each other to be successful in our shared interests there. So we're fortunate today, as we talk about the state partnership program, to be joined by General Dan Hokanson, the Chief of the National Guard Bureau, who is going to talk to us just a little bit about the program, but not until after this introductory video to show you a little bit about the state partnership program. So we can start the video, please. Okay, please join me in welcoming General Hokanson.
Thank you, Scott. Hey, folks, I appreciate all of you taking time out of your busy day. There's a lot to see here. And I'll try and get to this just for a couple of minutes, and then we'll hand it off so we can hopefully get to some questions before we're done with time. As you saw in the video, this partnership, that's actually from our 30th anniversary, which was this summer. And the program initially started after the collapse of the Soviet Union, when we had a lot of former Soviet bloc countries that were going to a democracy. And what they looked at is they utilizing the National Guard to pair with 13 original partner countries to help them transition from a communist system to a democracy, and how their military would really handle their civil military relations. And if you go back to those 13, most of them over the past 30 years have gone on to become NATO allies. And as you probably saw in the video as well, we now have 100 partnerships. We added 4 last year. Now, the reason why this program is so important is we're about 1% of our budget when it comes to interaction with foreign countries, but we do about 25 to 30% of all engagements. And the great thing is, when you partner a state like Illinois with Poland, one of the first ones, is they've now been partners for 30 years. So those Sergeant E5s and those Captain O3s have grown up, and now they are friends with the senior leadership, both on the officer and enlisted side within the Polish Army. In fact, the Polish Army actually co-deployed with the Illinois National Guard in Afghanistan multiple times. That shows how good these partnerships are. But the great thing is, because most of our soldiers and airmen stay within the Guard the majority of their career, they'll work with these partner countries throughout their career and develop these really strong relationships. One of the most recent examples we had was California's partnership with Ukraine, which also began in 1993. And when the war started, some of the first communications we received out of Ukraine was directly to their friends in California, like Dave Baldwin, the Adjutant General, where they're texting him or calling him directly with, hey, we're being attacked, here's what we need. In fact, we actually brought folks from the California Guard into the Pentagon to assist with that communications. Now, the other great thing about the State Partnership Program is we work with each other and we learn from each other. And many of the things that we learned from Ukraine after the 2014 invasion from Russia really helped us focus on our training with them to make them much more capable and address those areas. And hence you see what was supposed to be maybe a 2 to 3 or a 1 month long war is now coming up on, well, pretty close to 2 years. But the good thing about the partnership is it's not only us sharing what we've learned, but we also learn a lot from our state partners. Many of them are very skilled in certain areas in their environment or their region, and so it makes the Guard that much better because our soldiers and airmen get to train in their countries with them, learn the environment they operate in, understand the issues that they face, but also learn from them on how they approach problems or issues, and it makes just both of us better having that collaboration. But at the end of the day, it's all about having partners and allies working together to make us both become better. And then if, heaven forbid, there's that date, like we saw in Ukraine, where they need help, they've got a trusted ally, trusted partner, somebody they have worked with over the course of years that they're going to reach out to. Okay, I promised I'd keep my remarks short. I'd love to look forward to your questions at the end, but let me hand it back to Scott, and then we'll go to the next speaker.
Sir, thank you. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to talk a little bit about what we do in CTAF Africa as the active component headquarters, and then I'll talk a little bit about how the partnership between CTAF Africa and our state partners from the National Guard, working together with our partners in Africa, help us to achieve our objectives in each of those relationships. But before I do that, I want to show a brief video that highlights some of the activities that we undertake in CTAF Africa in pursuit of our mission, and I'll explain a few of those before I hand it over to our next speaker. Okay, so that video just shows a little bit about what we do in CTAF Africa. We do two primary things on the continent of Africa. The first thing is we are responsible to synchronize and to conduct all of the U.S. Army's operations, activities, and investments in partnership with our teammates in Africa. That's the number one thing that we do. The second thing that we do that is in support of our partners, but it's really a subset of what U.S. AFRICOM does, is we provide a scalable crisis response option to AFRICOM to respond to crises on the continent. We've been activated twice this year already as a joint task force. The first time was in April in response to the instability in Sudan, and we are currently activated as a joint task force in response to the coup that occurred in Niger. And so we are activated in order to support AFRICOM's priorities with our partners and to protect American citizens and American interests during those periods of instability. Those are the two main things that we do. We do all of that as a part of U.S. Army Europe and Africa since the consolidation now 3 years ago this month in October. What hasn't changed since that consolidation is we remain the Army's headquarters that provides that direct support to AFRICOM and to our partners in Africa every day. Here's what's terrific about the partnership that we have between CTAF Africa and each of our National Guard state partners as a part of the state partnership program. Oftentimes what we do in the active component is episodic in our engagement with our partners. We're able to achieve some persistence with our Security Force Assistance Brigade, which is an invaluable resource. Our civil affairs teams engage broadly across the continent, but many of our exercises, our medical readiness exercises, our key leader engagements, and some of our other interactions are episodic. As General Hokanson talked about, what the National Guard brings is unique from that. It's a persistent presence, and it's enduring over time. These long relationships are really valuable both to our partners and to our effort in support of our teammates in Africa. I'm gonna leave the details of those of the virtues and the value of those partnerships to Brigadier General Jackie Huber, who's going to talk to us about how the states approach these partnerships and the value that they provide. We are then also privileged today to have with us Major General Thomas Opong Pepra, who is the Chief of the Army Staff from the Army in Ghana. He is one of our great teammates, and it's terrific to have him here with us. And so let me hand it over now to Brigadier General Jackie Huber from North Dakota.
Thank you, sir. Just to start off with a little bit of gratitude, thanks for everybody for setting up this great event. When the North Dakota National Guard had the opportunity to come and talk and brag a little bit about our SPP program with Ghana, Togo, and Benin, we were pretty excited to do that. But before we get into the details, we're going to start with a quick short video.
The state partnership program relationship with North Dakota and the republics of Ghana, Togo, and Benin is very important. It allows us to really use some of the things that we do very well, which is defense support to civilian authorities. I think that's probably one of our largest portfolios with the U.S. Africa Command and what we can bring the most to the table besides our NCO engagements. The great thing about the state partnership program is it allows for us to showcase the amazing soldiers and airmen we have in the organization. All the state active duties we've supported within the communities in North Dakota really come to bear when we go over to do these exercises in Ghana, Togo, and Benin. It's very important that we also pass on this knowledge to our partners, and we learned a lot from them as well.
I want to applaud you for coming and for you to assist in training our personnel in this regard. I will urge that from time to time, it continues. It helps us to stage it and to make us vibrant all the time.
We can learn from each other on exercises like this, and I really wish that we could continue doing this with the U.S. Africa Command.
So as I mentioned, we have 3 partnerships on the continent of Africa. We're going to be celebrating our 20-year state partnership with Ghana this spring. We're also going to be celebrating our 10-year anniversary in April with Togo and Benin. Since 2005, when we began doing our partnership exchange program, we've participated in 305 missions. These exchanges go from anything from military police, engineer, senior leader engagements, intelligence, any item of spectrum that you can imagine. We've probably done it in those 305 engagements over the years. I'm going to continue to weave in the 3 C's that were talked about by Major General Wasmond. Continuity. We offer continuity through our bilateral affairs officers that are assigned to each embassy. They become the knowledge management base for those ambassadors and a forefront of what activities are taking place. Consistencies. On our exchange, we have NCOs and officers that do repeat trips to these nations, offering their subject matter expertise in whatever field it might be that they're supporting. These individuals are often requested and known by name to come back year and year again. Capability. It's a great opportunity for our state to share our capabilities, such as our 164th Regional Training Institute. That is an engineer training schoolhouse for all compos. We come into Africa, in Ghana, in partnership with their engineer schoolhouse and collaborate on some many great things that I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. We also have our engineers and MPs that are a huge asset, not only in the United States, but when we can offer and exchange ideas and concepts with our partners, it's a win-win too in Africa, as well as disaster preparedness. Our Division of Emergency Management has supported 55 missions over the last since 2005, 20 years going on, which is incredible, and it provides that civ-to-civ opportunities for growth just beyond the mill-to-mill type relationships. So what I'm going to do here is kind of walk through these slides. So if we start on the upper corner, this is an exercise that took place in 2022. It's Lignite Coast. This was in Tempe Canoe Village in Ghana, where we simulated an earthquake. A lot of that video that we showed from the North Dakota National Guard was from this exercise, and we can see we had some great role-playing going on with that particular event. We also had partnered with the NADMO, which is the equivalent of FEMA for the United States, as well as their National Fire, Ambulance, Police, as well as the Ghana Armed Forces. And again, our Division of Emergency Management from North Dakota was key in engaging in this civ-to-civ exercise. The middle picture, this is counter-ID awareness training with our 817 Sapper Company, and this event has actually happened in Togo. And you'll see one of our soldiers assisting a Togo Armed Forces soldier utilizing explosive ordnance device protective gear. As you can imagine, with the security concerns in West Africa, counter-IED awareness training is critical, and we get asked constantly year and year again to come back and do that particular training. We worked with CTAF Africa in 2018 and 19 on developing curriculum for counter-IED training. And it's a win for our soldiers where they have an opportunity to hone in on their skills and share that knowledge with our partners. In the bottom, or in the corner, we have Major Annie Gerhardt. So Major Gerhardt is with our medical detachment. She is a nurse practitioner, and she has also on the civilian side a college professor at a university. She has participated in numerous medical readiness exercises in Ghana. On one of them, she had an opportunity to even learn about a disease that she only read about in textbooks. She was able to work with this disease hands-on and bring experience back to her college curriculum in North Dakota. She has also been able to relate experiences in Ghana, such as long response time for medical care, lack of state-of-the-art equipment, as well as doing the best that you have with the equipment that you have on hand, as it relates back to North Dakota with some of our rural health problems that we have. And so it is just a win-win on that exchange that can happen back and forth. One of the great partnerships that we have that I mentioned is our 164th Regional Training Institute, RTI, where I mentioned we train all compos of Army engineers on combat horizontal and vertical engineering. Since 2007, we've participated in 40 engagements. We've also had 14 engagements where we've brought Ghanaian instructors back to the schoolhouse in North Dakota to learn about how we do practices to hone on their engineering training abilities. Another opportunity, since we have such a close relationship with the schoolhouse and Fort Leonard Wood, we've been able to bring back, work with them and have POI brought into Ghana. We've done this for instructor training courses. We also did it a couple years back for a basic officer leadership course. So it is a win-win when we can share that and expand that knowledge base and help Ghana and our partners grow. The middle picture is our 188th engineers participating in United Accord. Members of our 188th have participated in Africa, different exercises since 2015, minus 1 year for COVID. They continue to hone their skills and share that knowledge base. One of the interesting, when it's a small army, we have Second Lieutenant Dennis Duko, who was a Ghanaian-born soldier who is now a First Lieutenant in the North Dakota Army National Guard. We have 9 Ghanaians serving right now in the North Dakota National Guard. And one of the awesome things that with Lieutenant Duku was that we were able to do a project at his school that he attended and build desks and that. And it was just such a great experience and just really learning firsthand that exchange and those bonds that can happen. The bottom picture, this is Sergeant Major Scott Obergewich. He is our 141 Maneuver Enhancement Brigade Command Sergeant Major. He's also a school teacher in Dickinson, North Dakota. In this picture, this was just taken in September, he is discussing professionalism within the NCO Corps with senior NCOs from the Ghanaian Armed Forces. They also worked on a draft of the Ghanaian Armed Forces NCO Creed. And this is really about helping our partners develop their own African NCO Corps that is empowered as professionals and strong enlisted force. And with this, it's even a small army, as I mentioned. Our Command Sergeant Major there, Obergewich, went to the Sergeant Major Academy with the Ghana Armed Forces Command Sergeant Major Daniel Otto. So it's a small world how those connections and things come together and when you have those types of relationships. And so really what I want you to go away with, SPP is about relationships. It's about building relationships that are based on trust and mutual respect. And we're so fortunate in North Dakota to have our 3 partners and how that partnership has evolved over the years and just really looking forward to what will continue in the future. So I will stop talking at this point and bring our great partner, Ghana, represented by Major General Thomas Opong Pepra, the Chief of Staff of the Ghanaian Army.
Thank you very much. Ghana is a peaceful, stable, and highly democratic country and lies in the West African region that is bedeviled with and also full of overthrows of governments and so on and so forth. In 2004, the Ghana Armed Forces went into a state partnership program with the North Dakota National Guard. This was instituted as a foreign policy tool to increase the level of defense agreement between the 2 countries. The state partnership program has had an average of 13 events annually, and the 20th anniversary of this novel initiative is expected to be celebrated next year in Ghana. One of my objectives since I took over command of the Ghana Army has been to leverage this strategic cooperation to enhance military support to the Ghana Army. I believe in the words of Henry Ford that coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. And so one may ask, what are the objectives of this partnership with North Dakota National Guard? The first one is the development of economic, political, and military ties between the 2 countries, that is the U.S. and Ghana. Again, it fosters mutual interest and establishes habitual long-term relationships across all levels of security. It helps in building peacekeeping capabilities of the Ghana Armed Forces. And here it will interest you to know that Ghana Armed Forces is the 7th contributor to the UN operations over the world. Presently, we are engaged in 6 peacekeeping operations. So the help that we get from North Dakota is really immense and beneficial to us. What progress have we made so far? Some of them are the training support that my colleague elaborated so well, and that includes partaking in exercises like a Best Warrior that took place in North Dakota. We have also been having exercises, as he said, on disaster management, and we do that in collaboration with the civil authorities. NCO development, team management, troop leading, critical thinking exercises, and counseling best practices are all part of things that we do together, and it's working very well for us. Assistance to Engineer Training School is key, and it's been beneficial to the Ghana Armed Forces. Last but not the least, the medical outreach activities have had positive impacts on the locals in the rural areas of Ghana. In conclusion, I will say that the State Partnership Program initiative with the North Dakota National Guard has been very engaging under the outstanding leadership of Major General Dorman, the Adjutant General of North Dakota National Guard. His vision, proactiveness, and active leadership engagement through regular visits to Ghana has helped to deepen the level of defense cooperation between Ghana and the U.S. It complements the excellent supporting efforts of Major General Todd Wasserman, the Commanding General of CTAF-AF. It is my hope that we will dig deeper into the level of defense cooperation to achieve our mutual national interests. Thank you very much for your attention.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Thanks. Okay, I'm going to finish with just a couple thoughts. U.S. AFRICOM's approach in Africa is that our activities there would be partner-led and U.S. supported. The SPP program is the model for that. The way that it helps to connect both the active U.S. force and the National Guard, but also how it connects and enables our partners. It is powerful. I'm glad that you've taken a few minutes to listen to us tell our story. These partnerships are more than just that. They are friendships. General Pepra, I'm proud to call you a friend. We appreciate your partnership and all that you do together with us. We're proud to be a part of it. Jackie, thanks very much today, and General Hookinson, thanks very much for giving us the wasta of today's presentation. So with that, let me open the floor to any questions that anybody might have. Sir.
Hi, thank you so much. Bryant Harris with Defense News. I have a question for General Pepra, if you don't mind. You mentioned you're in a pretty region of Africa that's been ridden by coups over the last few months. I know ECOWAS, I think the meeting was in Ghana a couple months ago, was contemplating military intervention in Niger in response to the coup. Can you kind of give us an update on the state of play there and what you personally see as the path forward in Niger? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Presently, what the regional body is doing is to explore diplomatic avenues to solve the problem. Concurrently, the military is also doing some military assessment, and I believe that the regional body will succeed in the diplomatic effort so we don't go to war. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? And that's a good one. Okay, not seeing any hands raised for further questions. Thanks very much for your attention. Enjoy the rest of the conference with AUSA. Thank you.